So this past Sunday, we had 4 people shot, 2 fatally, at what should have been a routine concert at the Masquerade Club. The gunman managed to escape by fleeing past 2 unarmed security guards. Since this time, the department has had the singular mission of apprehending the individual responsible for this heinous act. I cannot say enough about the department's homicide and fugitive units. These units embody professionalism, teamwork, and just gritty guts. And they did it. They got our guy, and in record time, and we're gonna hold this individual accountable. This is not how Atlanta is going to be governed. So I'm gonna allow, have the folks that know the most about the case speak to you on the particulars of it. I think many of you have dealt with Deputy Chief Tollison before, Major Adam Lee, and Lieutenant Carvin Tyus behind me. So we hope we can answer your questions sufficiently. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deputy Chief Darrell Tollison. That's D-A-R-R-Y-L. Tollison is T-O-L-L-E-S-O-N. As the Chief says, Sunday night, November 12th, around 9:30, we had a shooting at a venue in underground Atlanta. As you know, 4 people were shot and 2 people were deceased, and 2 were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Our homicide unit immediately began to work around the clock to identify the perpetrator, and within 48 hours, we had our suspect identified and warrants issued. So today we are proud and pleased to announce that we have arrested the perpetrator in this crime. Today, approximately 12 noon, the Atlanta Police Department's fugitive unit arrested Jonathan Bautista, 23 years of age, on 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and we anticipate additional charges forthcoming. Mr. Bautista was arrested in Social Circle, Georgia, without incident. We'll be happy to try to answer any of the questions you might have concerning this issue, but that's just our statement at this point. Any questions?
Is Bautista the one in the red plaid shirt?
Yes.
So the guy in the dark plaid shirt, his involvement at this point?
We're still, listen, just so you know, Bautista is downstairs in our conference room now being interviewed, so this is still very fresh. He was not, the person you're describing was not a shooter. He knows Bautista, but he was not involved in the incident whatsoever.
So you're not looking for anyone else?
No, ma'am.
Bautista's
No, our
the
only
one.
perpetrator has been arrested. Yes, ma'am.
How was Bautista identified? How'd you track him down?
Well, it's really through the help of you guys. Once we released his photo to the media, I think that everyone's somewhat outraged by this crime, so we had a very good response from people who knew him, and through tips from the public. Is really very simply is how we had him identified so quickly.
What was the motive?
Well, we don't know. If you look at his criminal record, he only has a couple of minor drug offenses. He's employed, graduated from high school, and it appears that it's just a confrontation that went bad, and he made some very bad decisions to pull a weapon and begin to shoot folks that he had a confrontation with.
Was he a rapper or an artist?
No, sir.
Okay, he was just somebody in the...
Just a spectator. That's right. Just there to see the concert.
Did he know any of the 4 victims?
No, ma'am.
What was that confrontation about that led to?
Well, we're still working on that. We're trying to get his side of the story. We've heard from other eyewitnesses that he was displeased with some of the folks, as y'all have reported, that got on the stage prior to the main act coming on. And this is a venue that holds about 550 people. This particular night, it was about 110 people there. So still a fairly small crowd, but very dangerous to be pulling guns and firing in a crowd like that.
A lot of people ask, how did a gun get in there? Did they have any measures to prohibit that?
No, the venue only has unarmed security, and there's no screening for firearms or any type of screening for that matter as you enter that venue.
Will that change?
Don't know. Obviously this is still an ongoing investigation, so we're looking at all the different aspects as it relates to this particular venue, and I don't know if it's going to change or not.
I know it was closed, the Masquerade was closed Monday night. Is it still closed, or is it opening tonight?
They're kind of a concert venue, as you know, so it sort of depends on the tour. I do know they have some dates coming up that they plan to be open. I don't know if they're open today, to be very honest with you.
Have they contacted you about extra security or anything for those concerts?
See, typically that venue hires off-duty officers, but on this particular night they didn't. So We've been in touch with some of those off-duty officers to learn a little bit more about the venue and what have you. And so typically they do on the larger crowds, but because the crowd, I assume crowd was so small, they decided not to hire any off-duty officers for this event.
Anybody else?
Anything else?
State and spell your name.
Daryl Tollison, D-A-R-R-Y-L. Tollison is T-O-L-L-E-S-O-N, the Deputy Chief over Criminal Investigations.